against now Insect with it. Maybe they just want to ban away and make sure it's not going to be played against them.
Well, there is the Evelynn, Yasuo, and Ziggs bans, and there is the Kassadin ban by Millenium.
Okay, so we get the Evelynn and the Ziggs ban here. I like this, taking out two of the comfort champions from Millenium, and of course Yasuo. Selfie is a big Yasuo player. He spams it in solo queue, and he's so good on it, so I love the fact they banned away. Try and hit the new guy a little bit.
Exactly. You got to put the new guy out of his comfort zone. You know, he's already going to be in a little uncomfortable situation. The pressure's on him. He's the mid laner. He's the superstar of this new team. We'll see how it works out for him. Ryan's also being banned away, taken away from Kevin, but possibly there. And Lulu, well, a standard ban so far in the LCS, but it does mean that Selfie is going to be playing LeBlanc in the mid lane.
So they simply say, we want to make sure you get one of your comfort champions. We don't want to risk anything, so we just instantly give you this LeBlanc here. No chance taken, because Yasuo and Kassadin and Lulu is banned away from the mid lane. And
a big smile on that new man's face. He seemed very happy with that pickup there. Millenium, well, they're going to be maybe taking a leaf out of Insect's book and looking at that Kha'Zix jungle.
Yeah, so we have the Kha'Zix. We didn't see it in the last game. And then obviously we have the likes of Renekton being able as a possible pick for Millenium. Ryze already banned away from Super Hot Crew, so clearly they were fearing Kevin playing it. So Renekton could be an easy pickup for him to win the lane, try and shut down Mimir early on. Of course, then we have the likes of Fresh is here, Annie's here, we have all the supports ready, and of course AD carry-wise, Lucian actually at Intel Extreme Masters was such a pick champion. I wouldn't even be surprised to see it picked by someone like Super Hot Crew.
Oh, at the moment it looks like it's going to be Caitlyn for Creaton and Elise for RNA in the jungle. Of course, Elise still very strong. It's 4.4 he gets hit, and still really a highly contested pick in the 4.3 patch.
Yeah, the objective control with Elise, the fact you can smite and you can execute with your own Q in Spider form is very, very strong, of course. And just overall, Elise, you provide everything you want for the team. Good early game damage, you have CC, of course, you have decent enough late game. That's very nice. And the Caitlyn pick for, of course, I just forgot his name. Yeah, Creaton, of course.
Right there in front of you, man.
Right, Creaton, of course. Caitlyn for Creaton will possibly shut down Super Hot Crew if they want to pick a Sivir, so it could be one of the reasons they want it so early.
You know, you talked about the Renekton that it could be picked up, the fact that Ryze was taken away. We do see that Renekton for Mimir, as well as the Karma once again for this time Mixer.
Yeah, the fact actually that Millenium invests the early pick into this Caitlyn simply means that Super Hot Crew could get the Renekton. It could be the reason they decided to ban out Ryze, because they wanted to play Renekton. And of course Karma. As support we see more and more now in Europe. We saw it in last game as well. So much utility you bring to the team, and the very strong early laning phase, which is something Super Hot Crew absolutely loves, because they have Mr. Rallis, and him and Mixer together are one of the most aggressive bot lanes we actually have in the European LCS.
I would say we haven't seen too many successful Karmas though so far.
That is true.
Support. Looks like it will be Shen for Kevin. It's a champion he's played a number of times already in the LCS. And it will be Thresh for J-Ree. He went hook after hook when last time he got through on Thresh. Let's see if he can do it again.
And we saw the Shen pick from KT Bulls against Renekton as a counter pick, because you can farm in the laning phase and you can become this very tanky Shen that in the late game team fights are just so hard to deal with, and you can always split push. So that's the cool thing for Millenium here. And with Caitlyn, you can keep her in the mid lane, just constantly wave clearing, put Shen in one lane. We can even see now from Curb possibly picking up something that can split push the other lane, so you can do a 1-3-1. But let's see what they decide to do.
So the Lucian and Kha'Zix were picked up by the Super Hot Crew in the final pick. We'll see what that is for Millenium in a moment, but what do we make of those?
Well, looking at the picks here from Super Hot Crew, they've gotten pretty much everything they wanted. They got the early Assassin onto Selfie. They have, of course, Renekton with the Ryze being banned away for Mimir. And then you have the new early pick here for the likes of Mixer with Karma, a lot of early game aggression. Combine that with Lucian, your laning phase is so strong. And of course, you can actually, as one of your last picks, get Kha'Zix, one of the best junglers in the moment. Super Hot Crew are going to be very happy.
Well, they're going to be very happy and very aggressive, but look at Millenium. They just can counter that so hard and just get away with it with the shields, with the mobility. That Super Hot Crew are going to be finding it hard to lock them down.
If Millenium can survive the laning phase here, get into the mid game and just start grouping up as a team, 4 members, and then have Shen split pushing, and then you just land spear after spear on the Nidalee. You have the poke, of course, from the likes of Caitlyn. You have so much siege potential with this combo, and if something should happen, if Super Hot Crew engage, Shen ultimate down towards whoever is being engaged on, and just join in for the fight. So Millenium here, 2 completely different combos. One combo that just want to get kills, want to find targets all the time, and another combo who wants to play it slow and just poke away, and whenever someone is low and force them off the turret, they can take the turret then and just take the objectives.
Well, Well, we'll see how it works out. Remember the new man, Selfie. He's going to be taking portraits of himself throughout this game, I feel. Let's check out the lolesports.com vote, so to see how you voted for this matchup. According to the clicks, 53% of you have picked Super Hot Crew. And that's actually probably how I would call it as well. This is pretty close to 50-50.
Yeah, it's so close to 50-50. There's only one win between these two teams. Both have been struggling. Millenium had a better Super week than Super Hot Crew. And also now, of course, they went to Intel Extreme Masters. It didn't work out too well for them. But at least they got to try their luck against someone like Kitty Bullet. See maybe if they can pick something up. So let's see if they're deciding to change up the playstyle a little bit.
Yeah, well, they'll be enjoying the experience. Kevin probably didn't enjoy the experience at Intel Extreme Masters.
I don't think so, no.
I mean, last year he was chasing Peke around the inhibitor.
Yeah.
This year, well, he wasn't too happy about his performance against KT Rollstar Bullets. However, this is a different day, and this is a different game. Here we go, ladies and gentlemen. It is the Super Hot Crew up against Millenium, and you can see the new man there, Selfie. Let's see how he performs on LeBlanc. He had a big grin on his face when he managed to get that pick in there. We'll see how it works out for him, because he's up against Curb, who, as you pointed out at the top of the show, had a pretty OP performance last week.
Yeah, and he's deciding to go with Barrier here on Italy. It's very normal against LeBlanc because you want to make sure you can survive this burst. And for Italy, the first 5 levels, you just want to try and farm. You don't want to try anything, because without your cat form, without your ultimate, you don't really have the damage or the mobility to set anything up. You can just try and land your spears. That's where we need to see if Selfie can stay behind the minions, or at least not get baited into something. And Millenium here, they absolutely love these early level 1 tactics. So let's see what they decide to do here with 3 members. And also notice Kevin up here. He can come in from behind, trying to catch out someone.
30 seconds until minions.
Nope, looking towards Mima. Nope, he's going to step away. And, well, Millenium are one of those few teams that do put a lot of stock in that level 1 play. They try and go for those invades. They try something out, and it sometimes works, sometimes it gets countered hard. But the fact is that most LCS teams just play very passive in the opening levels.
With the level 1 they tried here, it's very risk-free of the way they actually approached it. With Shen going in first, you obviously can taunt away and flash away. So yes, you might burn a summoner, but if you can burn a summoner on the enemy team without using anything, it is a perfect start for them. Kevin, he is up in the top lane here, so we're gonna get standard lanes. Let's see how it works out for Karma in the bot lane against this Thresh, because we have a Doran shield, so we have some combat stats onto Jerry, but we have, of course, the Spellfire onto Karma, so a lot of early poke.
Yeah, Spell Thief Central key. Gaining in gold every time he either gets a poke on a champion, or whether he fires a spell at the champion. Whatever he does that hits that opponent, of course. If he takes CS like a scumbag, which no support should be doing, then it will start that 12-second counter, I believe it is, on him.
It is
Aranea
indeed.
is going to be starting off on the blue buff. The blue buff also was being picked up by Impaler. That was leashed out by Mima. Aranea has had to do it all himself.
And let's see how Aranea decides to play this leash, because if you look at the mid lane, it's going to be very hard for him to gank. With Nidalee, of course, there's no CC being provided by Curb. Top lane wise, Renekton could be a target. You can taunt him with Shen, of course, lock him down, then Aranea can join in. Bot lane, it's going to be hard, but it's going to be pushed up to the turret of Millenium all the time, and they want to land a hook from Jerry before Aranea then joins. Otherwise, the mobility on Karma and Lucian will make it very easy for them to actually escape.
Let's see how the poke works between them. Looks like level 2 may well be going to Super Hot Crew first. Although Millenium are really trying to keep that pressure down. I feel it will be Super Hot Crew. There we go. Level 2 landed. Not really going to go for any poke. No, they just try and keep some pressure on towards him. Jerry, of course, has just hit level 2. Will have that hook and flay. That's what Mix is being careful about.
And from talking with Mr. Rales, how they've been performing in the scrims, he said we just win early game every single time. We play so aggressive everywhere. That's why we see, of course, the LeBlanc now in the mid lane. Want to have the pressure in mid lane. We see the bot lane with the Karma. Want to win this lane and just push every single lane up to the turret of Millenium. But they're gonna be so, it's gonna be so hard for them if they go to the late game part against this poke combo from Millenium. So they have to win the early game.
Well, Mima, as you mentioned, has been aggressive, has pushed up that lane, and that may be to the detriment of him, because look at that river. It is Aranea getting ready to pounce on Elise. He's going to come in towards there. There's the taunt. There's the cocoon.
Wow.
It lands just as Mima tries to slice and dice away. I don't think they're going to quite have the follow-up on this one, and he will get himself free to the turret.
But they get some very good damage onto him, force him to use the health pot, and also now he needs to be careful. If he's staying around and Aranea decides to come to the lane once again, they will be able to take the kill. It's a very good move here, making sure Kevin can get some early farm on the Shen, become tanky so Renekton can't even touch him.
Impaler is thinking of a counter jungle, counter gank here on Kevin. Kevin is fairly safe though. He's got himself flash, he's got himself ignite if he needs to use it, of course, but it looks like Impaler is not going to be able to make a move there. it actually makes it tricky for Impaler because, as you mentioned, all the lanes were pushed up so heavily. You can see the mid lane. LeBlanc Selfie is literally living on the turret of that mid lane of Kerp.
And that's where, as a jungler, you can either go and try and dive a lane, which is risky here early on, or you can just focus on farming. Simply just wait out and see if you spot Aranea somewhere, you can try and move to lane for counter gank. Otherwise, you just focus on farming, get the early level 6 onto the Kha'Zix, get your ultimate involved, so you're going to be so strong and annoying to deal with.
Selfie is keeping good farm up, but Kerp is doing just as well himself and actually has the slightest of edges over Selfie so far. But there you go, you can still see the poke coming out from him.
Yeah, the lane is definitely in the advantage of Kerp. You need to punish Nidalee early on. The first few levels, she's so weak. That's where LeBlanc have to shine, get ahead in the CS, and Kerp is doing a great job, and Selfie just taking a little bit slow here in his very first LCS game.
And he's going to come around towards, he thought about the bot lane river was warded out, so it may well be a mid lane invade on towards Selfie. It's going to be very hard to land the cocoon on such a high mobility champion as Selfie has on LeBlanc though. He's just going to sit off at the side. Impaler is making his way towards the mid lane at the moment, so we'll see whether he takes a right or a left. He's going to go to Wolves.
Yeah, Aranea is more here for the counter gank because Kerp has pushed off the lane, so he wants to join in if Impaler shows himself. We want to try and turn it around, get an early kill onto him, because that's where also Elise is so strong. Because, again, how is Aranea ever going to get a kill onto LeBlanc in this position? She can just jump straight to her own turret, no CC from Nidalee. So he was just there for the counter gank, and now he's moving towards the spot lane. Let's see if Jerry can actually land a hook.
Well, he's going to have to throw it out. He's in a great position, and Super Hot Crew put themselves in a dangerous position. There's going to be the jump away, and would you believe, not even close there from Jerry. The cocoon as well doesn't land, and now Kerp does get aggressed upon. Selfie in there, Impaler jumps in, does manage to get a claw. The rockets land as well, but it's just not enough damage.
And down in the bot lane, there was even the chance for Jerry to simply just flay Karma into him, then land the hook, or even flash flay him just to set up this kill, because Aranea was in a great position. The flash was already used from Mixer. Decided not to do it, and hook was missed. Meanwhile, in the mid lane, nothing else happened.
Let's check out that bottom lane. You can see difference of builds as well coming out here. We do see Mima. Oh, hello, Kerp. He's had to use that barrier. Selfie has got Ignite. There's the Ignite. That's good kill. He didn't need to flash for that. That was a mistake there. Arenea's going to come in and try and make him pay for this one. Does see Selfie stepping off to the side. Impaler's trying to run defensive duties.
So with the flash burned early on by Impaler, Selfie decides to go very aggressive. And the barrier from Kerp, he didn't use it when the damage actually hit him, so the barrier did nothing. And Selfie, very smart, just waited for the barrier to disappear, and then he ignited, but Scumbag Impaler jumped in and took the first blood.
Took the kill away from him. Not probably going to be best pleased about that one. Flash being used, a little too aggressive, a little bit of nerves kicking in, maybe just a little bit of that adrenaline surge that he had there, maybe trying to make that land that kill on Kerp.
Probably have to give him credit. As soon as he got a small advantage in the lane, he took it and he punished Kerp for using the flash early on onto the gank from Impaler. So very nice play actually by him, and a good start. This is what he needs just to get some breathing room.
So what I wanted to get to before all that happened was the builds. We see it looks like it's probably going to be a Hydra build for Mima in that top lane. He's going to be up against Kevin, who, well, it looks like he's going full tank, as you would expect from a chef.
As you would expect, it's all he needs to do, because he's going to hit the point when he's having the Sunfire. Didn't get the blue buff.
That didn't work there, Kerp. The spears are not quite doing as much damage as you thought, buddy. And he finally goes back in and picks up the blue.
But yeah, again, for Shen, he just wants to be so tanky that Renekton can't kill him. And then he can just stay in this lane. And if Renekton stays up in the top lane with him, then Millenium can just force something elsewhere and you can join in with your ultimate. Of course, Kevin have to be careful that he's not getting interrupted when he's actually ulting. And we see here, Impaler decides to involve his ultimate. As we have seen they do in Korea, we saw Insect do it. Oh. It's very smart.
Mixer in trouble, he's going down. Who's going to pick up the kill? It will be Kraton. That's the one they needed. Millenium get themselves the first kill of the game, but we do see the invade here coming out from the Super Hot Crew on red.
And this time around, we had the hook from Jerry, setting everything up. And Aranea here, closing in towards the red buff. Kerp still in the mid lane, and Selfie, he's far away.
Kerp could come in here. Don't forget, Kevin could also use that Stand United to come in at any time. Impaler's going to use that ulti. He's going aggressive on Aranea. I'm not too sure this is the right choice to make. Kevin's coming around the side here. He's going to get the Shadow Dash on towards him. He's going to hold his nerve right now, because we do see Selfie coming in there. He tries to go aggressive over towards Kerp.
And the ultimate was used by Impaler, but it didn't manage to pick up the red buff. Aranea got it, so smart move here. Very good play by Millenium, making sure he gets the red buff. And of course, with the kill down here in the bot lane, it's very even.
See how this game develops at the moment. you say, the bot lane very even between them, 72 to 73 CS. Impaler is going to be taking his own red buff, didn't manage to get that invade working on Aranea, who did get that red buff and is now looking to pay a visit to the top.
And of course, what we have to say here with Kha'Zix, if people wonder why do you evolve the ultimate early on, it's simply because now in 4.3 it lasts for a second longer, which is very strong. You get an extra charge, so you can steal 3 times with it, and you take 50% less damage while you're in your stealth. So what you can do is simply jump into a fight, pop your stealth, and you're so hard to kill, and it's so annoying for the enemy team to deal with.
Selfie just used the distortion there. We do see Aranea going to go aggressive, does not manage to catch on towards him. Selfie is safe once again, and straight away going full on aggression back on towards Kerp, and actually looking maybe going aggressive to Aranea.
He wants to make sure Aranea cannot walk down to this very overextended bot lane. He is a very smart move by him, showing that at least he knew where Aranea was and stopped him from going down to the bot lane.
And heading back towards the comment about Impaler with that ultimate, it's what is it, 50%?
50% in stealth
damage reduction in stealth. So it's very, very strong. If used, you have to use it at the right moment, though, which is what, of course, these top players will be doing. At the moment, though, it is all square between the teams, and Aranea again looking to make a play in this bottom lane. There's
a ward in the bush Jerry is standing on, so it's going to be hard for him to actually sneak in here. Again, we needed the hook to land so he could get the lantern, and then they could set something up. Going back to Impaler and Kha'Zix, let's see if he decides to build tanky like Insect did, or if he's going to focus more on damage. It's going to be actually very different for the playstyle he wants to use. He's catching out Kevin here.
Yeah, Kevin face checking, not what you want in towards a Kha'Zix, because he's going to have that unseen threat passive, giving him that bonus, 25% damage or so on towards Kevin, despite the fact he is on a Shen. He is the tankiest member. You can see just how much damage that already did to him.
But Kevin had been doing a good job catching up in farm. He was about 20 CS behind early on. Now, with this wave coming towards his turret, he's getting almost even with Mimir acting. It's very good for him on Shen. And now Aranea catching out Impaler. Who's catching out who?
Oh, he's walked straight in towards Impaler. He's managed to repel, but where's he going to go? He's going to get locked up. He's going to go down. It's Impaler that gets himself a second kill of the game, and now they turn that aggression on towards Kevin.
And the single target burst from Impaler, he was definitely the one catching out Aranea and not the other way around.
Speaking of that aggressive play, Selfie has now come up. Kevin's going to have to back away from this turret. You can see he's already used that shadow dash to get himself away. They can take that turret. They're leaving the mid lane exposed, though.
But this is the early game aggression Supa crew were talking about. They have been using in practice, where they want to win the lanes and then rotate around, gank somewhere, find kills, and then take the turrets down early and make sure they can win.
Instead, it seems they're going to turn that aggression on towards Kerp in that mid lane. They have that ultimate. Void Spikes do not land, which is what you need to slow that Nidalee down. It seems Kerp will get away.
And Kerp is at the point now when he's having his cat form, he's so hard to kill because he can jump around. He's so mobile. He has his flash, of course, also the barrier. So Kerp is going to be very hard to shut down, and that's why he just wants to stay in farm. He just wants to make sure he's getting the items. He wants the fiends. He wants the death cap, so the spears can really start hurting.
Selfie out of mana as well. Kerp, meanwhile, is just going to farm up quite happily, quite passively. Impaler looking to make plays. Manages to land the rockets on Dragon, knows that that's been untouched so far, so that seems to be where they may pay a visit to next time around. I'm looking towards Mimir, though. He's heading back towards the top.
And Dragon-wise, just like you talk about Mimir going towards the top, that's where Millenium have the advantage. That's why they're starting it now, because Shen can always join in with his ultimate, and Mimir, he's far away. They don't actually have vision on him, but they know that the rest of Super Hot crew also recalled. The mid laner was gone, so they just quickly started, just like we saw last game with Alliance. If you spot the enemy recalling at a bad time, you just quickly go Dragon.
Quickly straight on towards that one, no problems there. So let's take stock of how it is playing out so far. We see a themes being picked up by both mid laners. Will get completed by Kerp shortly. Just needs to back away. The spear this time does get himself the blue buff. He is falling behind a little bit on farm to Selfie, despite the fact that Selfie has been roaming pretty heavily. That may well start being a problem for Kerp.
It could end up being a problem for him, but he's having about 2,000 gold at the moment, so he will be able to pick up their fiends once he actually decides to recall. And Selfie, meanwhile, putting a lot of pressure onto him, but as long as Kerp can just continue farming, it is fine. And as long as Millenium can avoid dying if Selfie roams around.
Impaler continues that aggression. Let's have a look towards the top. We can see, actually, they are having a little poke back and forward Mima is taking away those golems. That's taking it away from Aaron Air, and also the red buff looking towards it. Impaler wants to try and invade. Aaron Air's jungle has a little insect and a crocodile all over it.
And Supa crew, they really want to fight these 2v2 or 3v3 because they have Renekton, of course. They have Impaler on Kha'Zix, and you have LeBlanc. So they want to fight for these buffs. They want Millenium to actually contest them.
Mima getting the reset and starting off, clearing out that ward and going towards the red buff. Aaron is going to stick around for this on Curbs just off at the side there. We'll see who manages to get it. Oh, the spear simply helping Impaler take that red buff.
But look how much Millenium respect this combo from Supa Hot crew. Instantly, as they start the red buff, they just back off and try to steal it. And going on Aaron Air.
Ultimate used. He's trying to jump on towards him. Cocoon did come out there, but he flashes for it. He may well have enough damage here. Aaron is going to have to dive on towards the tower, but Kevin is there. The presence will be enough to force Impaler away.
So flash and ultimate used by Impaler, playing very aggressive here 1v1 and bot lane wise.
Mr. Ral is also trying to get some damage down towards Creaton. Selfie does manage to move back down towards that mid lane, and that turret going down. Supa Hot crew now 2-0 in terms of turrets.
And they need to keep this pressure up. We have only the pot turret left. They can rotate down there unless they can actually take it this turn, just 2 members. Get all the outer turrets down and then continue just pushing up. This is where we need to see all the wards from them in the enemy jungle. Gonna give them so much vision. If Millenium ever decides to run in there, they know exactly where they are and can try and catch them out, like we saw Impaler trying to do with Felice after the red buff.
So 3 turrets to the good for the Supa Hot crew in their new form with Selfie in the mid lane. Quick poke on towards Kerp there, and he goes once more, a little bit aggressive on towards him. Gives that cameraman heart palpitations every time he tries to follow a LeBlanc in play. And of course, if you missed that amazing play, it was Peke, wasn't it, that pulled out that crazy move at the Intel Extreme Masters on LeBlanc. We've seen some fantastic plays as well over in the North American LCS. Millenium making a move here. Looks like they're going to try and group up maybe towards his mid lane turret, but the pressure is all from the Supa Hot crew now in this top lane.
Millenium just want to get to the point where they can have 4 members in the mid lane sieging down a turret, and then Kevin has to hold his own against Mima up in the top lane. But Mima is having all the pressure here, and Creaton, he doesn't feel like he's farmed enough to actually group up yet. That's why we see Millenium trying to continue the laning phase, and that's what Supa Hot crew have to punish with this combo. We need to see Selfie roam around or Impaler setting up another kill.
Not afraid to use abilities in that mid lane farming. Selfie got to be careful he doesn't get caught out by one of those hooks from J-Ree, though, who's just waiting off at the side. But we do also see Mixer coming in there. He goes aggressive, throws out the leash on, actually landed on RNA, but chose not to follow through. J-Ree, though, he's caught out. Mixer's in there, and Paler's going to try and jump on towards him. Isn't caught out separately, though. He hasn't got that unseen threat. Bonus coming down towards him. RNA, though, he has been locked up, takes the lantern, and manages to escape.
And look how much damage you can do on Karma support onto J-Ree. Took him down to 50% all alone. He has a very nice damage, and again, we see from Supa Hot crew, they just want to find Millenium, they want to catch them out, and with this very good vision they have around this jungle, they know exactly where Millenium is.
And they're waiting. Gus managed to land the cocoon, doesn't want to follow through on that one. He's going to take a big chunk of damage from both Selfie and Impaler.
I have absolutely no idea why he's decided to move forward here, trying to get some harass onto Impaler. Too easy simply for Selfie just jumping in. Very good play again. He's actually showing very confident play.
Yeah, we'll see how that works out at the moment. It is a nice break-in game, it seems, for him. They have a 3-1 advantage. Mr. Ral has put some damage back onto J-Ree as he just passes on by, and they've got a big wave with that siege minion here on towards the tower, but they're not going to take advantage of it.
And Supa Hot crew is giving Millenium no chance to actually group up as a team. They just push up every single wave, every single lane, like we saw early game. Look at Mima up in the top lane, look here in the mid lane, and of course in the bot lane with the big wave. So every single lane getting pushed up, forcing Millenium to just stay and defend.
Supa Hot crew trying to choke out that pressure and keeping the advantage. They've had a full rotation, 4 members in towards this mid lane. Meanwhile, Mima keeps Kevin very busy in that top lane, not able to get away from this lane so far, and continues pushing him on towards that inner turret.
But we have hit the point where Shen is not going to die to Renekton. 1v1, he will be able to just stay at his turret, clear the wave every single time, and then he can join in with his team, possibly for the dragon coming up in 55 seconds. But look at all the wards here, again, from Supa Hot crew. I love the 2 pink wards they have, giving some key vision or denying vision from Millenium. So if, in case, they decide to camp in one of these bushes here, Millenium have no idea. They have no vision.
Kevin not allowing Mima to back off there, actually. Mima did have a ward on top of him, but they are going to stick around on that top lane. Mid lane, you see it's actually being pushed up by Mr. Rales at the moment, who is stealing himself a bit of an advantage over Creaton in terms of farm.
And Supa Hot crew wants to make sure they can fight for this dragon. That's why Mima has rotated all the way from the top lane down towards this dragon. It's going to be up in 18 seconds. Again, remember, Kevin will be able to join in, so we could actually see a big 5 against 5 fight.
You see the blue buff going across the curb. He's going to be quite happily taking that one away. Needs it for those spears, of course. Keep that cooldown and that mana going. Impaler, where are you going? He's going to try and sneak around the side there. May well have got himself caught out of position.
And this blue buff was actually something Supa Crew should have been fighting for. That's why also they were in position to go in there, but they weren't fast enough. They have started the dragon, however. Let's see if Millenium wants to fight.
Mixer getting caught out. Aranea trying to jump on Mixer. Not the target they should be going for. There's the Stand United. Aranea taking the damage. We do see Selfie coming in around the backside. Mima does manage to get himself a kill. Aranea goes down. J-Ree in trouble. He gets dropped as well. Next focus will be Kevin. He's pretty much 5v1 right now. Mima does finally drop down. Kevin managed to land out one of those daggers on towards him, but Mr. Rales is going to finish the job. Kevin, he's tanky, but is he going to be tanky enough? Yes, he is, because he gets the heal from Kerb.
So Supa Crew, they pick up 2 kills for themselves. They win the fight here. Dragon is still up. They didn't take it yet. They will back off here, or will they actually try and take it? Because Millenium decided to fight despite having a weaker combo at the moment and actually still got a kill. So fair enough for Millenium here. They got what they wanted and they managed to stop the dragon.
Selfie still looking for kills there in that bottom lane. Seeing if he can get on towards Kraton, will wipe out the wave and keep it pushed in there. The top lane is pretty heavily pressured. Mr. Rales without mana, really not feeling that he can duel against Kerb.
Yeah, Supa Crew, they have to back off now with Memos. And look at this team fight. Actually going into the edge here. Notice Jerry with the Shin ultimate. He flashes into the middle to get Jerry in there, to get Kevin in there. But then Impaler, down in your bottom of the screen here, actually gets out of the fight with his ultimate. He's taking so much damage, but he's tanking it up. Kevin going very aggressive, gets the kill onto Mima, and then he still managed to actually get out due to the heal here from Kerb, saving him so Mr. Rales can get the last hit.
Well, while that was all happening, we saw the dragon down in that bottom corner was picked up by Millenium, so they get themselves the second dragon of the game. There is the red buff though being stolen away by Impaler, and the rest of Millenium are simply left chasing shadows. 5-2 in kills currently for the Super Hot crew. They're trying to keep that aggression going, but you talked about it at the start. We're 20 minutes into the game. Millenium are far from out of this game so far.
Yeah, and Supa Crew, with the very aggressive start, have still been making some mistakes. Giving up the second dragon here, they decided to stay in the lanes despite actually, after the fight was over, they stayed without any mana and Lucian. Of course, Selfie went to the bot lane to push it out, so they didn't recall. The rest of Millenium, they just recall instantly and walked down towards the dragon, so Supa Crew couldn't fight for it, and that's a big mistake because they need to get these objectives early on. Yes, they've been controlled the red buff, but it's not enough.
That sweeps out the lens. The ward, in the tri-bush there. Mima continues to keep on shoving that wave, but you can see in terms of farm, he hasn't really got himself a great big advantage over Kevin, which he's liking. Kevin, well, he's not too worried about that big giant crocodile anymore. Super Hot crew, they're going to have to defend off this mid lane because Millenium, they've got a 4-man stack pushing down mid lane.
So very good here by Millenium because they can finally get a chance to actually group up in the mid lane and just start sieging away. If Kerb can land a few spears, he will force Super Crew to back off.
We do see Selfie shows himself in the bottom lane. Let's see if Millenium try and take advantage of that one. Mixer tries to get a poke out. They have got that ward placement. And now with those 4 members there, Kevin, of course, Stand United is available. Could get interrupted by Mima. The hook not going to land from J-Ree. And the siege will begin for Millenium. But Selfie, he's going to try and interrupt it.
He was spotted by the pink ward. Same goes for Mr. Rales, so they know exactly what's going on here. 4 members from Supa Crew defending. Millenium, they're going to back off. They don't want to fight this one.
Selfie tries to sidestep, goes in on towards Aranea. He has got the leash, but the lantern saves him there. J-Ree pulling him away from danger.
So again, very aggressive play by Selfie. He really wants to try and set something up, and I love to see the fact that he's not afraid to try and make plays. That's also, if you play a champ like LeBlanc, you cannot be afraid. You have to go in there and try and set something up.
Trying to set the tone early as the new mid lane for the Super Hot crew. Bottom wave, that's going to have to get defended by Kraton. We do see Impaler and Mr. Rales heading down there.
And look how Supa Crew once again are playing the map. As soon as Millenium backs off from the mid lane, they just instantly go to every single lane and push them up. Force Millenium now to not be able to group.
Impaler has evolved his wings. He could jump across towards Kraton. Remember, he also evolves at that ultimate, so he will be able to take the damage. Aranea this time around is caught out by Selfie. He's going to repel. The Ignite was running. He's going to drop straight into it. Takes the lantern, but it's not enough. Selfie gets him down the bottom. Kraton, as was spotted out. Impaler, Mr. Rales take him down with ease.
And Supa Crew playing it perfect once again. As soon as Millenium are split up, they find a target in the jungle, and also they dive onto Caitlyn in the bot lane, picking up 2 kills and also a turret.
They're going to keep that pressure going. They're on towards the inhibitor turret. And well, Millenium are slow to react to this one. They have to either give up the top or try and fight for this one. That turret is going down fast, and they're going to have to try and do something here. They're going to go across. Mr. Rales taken low, but turns that burst damage back on towards Kerb.
And they managed to back off here. Mr. Riles, he had to use the barrier and he dropped very, very low, but they got a lot of damage. And also, of course, the top lane turret here. So Supa Hot Crew punishing Millenium in every single lane.
And the ping comes straight out. Mixer, the support player, saying, hey guys, I'm taking the turret down all on my own in the mid lane. Anyone want to help? He's going to step away instead. Actually use the shield on the minion that the spear hit there.
Well, it's actually very, very nice to see a European team play so aggressive early on and using the pick combo they have to find these targets. It's something we haven't seen too much in Europe yet. And vision control-wise, again, we see very good wards in the jungle of Millenium. They want to find these picks all the time. Let's see, however, though, with the Dragon being far away, Millenium have time now to reset everything and actually start pushing down a wave. If they can force Supa Hot Crew to stay with 4 members in the mid lane, they will be able to at least extend the game a little bit and try and land some spears with Curb, which has been a non-factor so far.
Yeah, you can see every single member is trying to shove out those waves, trying to push them in there. Selfie keeping them on their toes in the mid lane, and nobody really wants to stand and bang with him anymore, so Selfie is doing a fantastic job. Mima, well, he finds himself a nice juicy stack. He's just going to push that all the way back in. Kevin has just pushed it out, hasn't got himself a CS advantage, but that will quickly be reclaimed by Mima, and they'll keep on pushing now in towards the inhibitor turrets. Final lane is with the inner turret is that mid lane. That may be where Supa Hot Crew are going to focus, and look at this, they're maybe going to try and set up a play here on Millenium.
And the Millenium have actually moved to 4 members here. Mima, he's just left in the top lane. He's going to rotate down with the team. Let's see if Millenium can actually land some of their poke and then force Supa Hot Crew to just back off.
Well, ace in the hole being used to try and poke
There we
Selfie
go.
down. Does manage to land a spear. That's for the first time in a long time. And that may actually force the Supa Hot Crew to step away. Mixer does land step on a trap, which gives him the vision towards Millenium, of course. And that means that they will all back away.
Now, I actually like Mixer on this Karma. He's staying a lot more back. He's normally the guy who dies all the time.
While this is all happening, check out that bottom lane. We can see it's Mr. Riles pushing up on towards that inhibitor turret. Remember that inhibitor turret was taken very low here. He's taking it down. We didn't quite see it on the screen there. Kevin was being pressured the whole time, and that's the turret down.
And this is, of course, the downside about Shen. You build full tank, you don't have enough damage, especially not against an AD carry with some lifesteal. You won't be able to stop him from just pushing up and hitting your turret over and over.
Well, as it stands, Millenium are under pressure now. 6-0 in turrets. This is something that shouldn't get underestimated because they have not took a single turret away from Supa Hot Crew. And the Supa Hot Crew, they're just staying off at the side here. Red Bull's going to be picked up here, and Millenium, they're undecided. They're pushing themselves up. They're all still on top of a ward.
But Millenium are doing the only thing they can do with this combo. Stay together as a group, try and land your poke, and then hope you can actually engage the fight or get a turret or get the dragon. They have been doing a good job getting 2 dragons already, and as long as they can keep Supa Hot Crew from taking an inhibitor or the Baron, they can still stay and extend the game.
So, Supa Hot Crew, the spear being thrown to Self. He quickly uses his distortion, but zips himself back, and this could be the first dragon of the game for the Supa Hot Crew, but don't see Millenium getting close enough to contest this one, and they will take it.
So finally now, dragon for Supa Hot Crew, just what they need here. Next 6 minutes is where we need to see if they want to just go to the lanes once again, push them up, force Millenium to just try and defend 1v1 or 2v2, and then just kill them every single time, because Aranir, he's been the target for Selfie. Every time he finds him in the jungle, he just jumps onto him and kills him.
Oh, top wave was shoved in. That's going to get cleared out by Mima. Bottom wave is being shoved in. We do see Impaler heading that way. And the mid lane, well, it's all been pushed out. So Millenium are doing a good job at keeping the waves pushed in, keeping that pressure on towards Supa Hot Crew. Impaler should be able to defend this one out. Kevin will just simply keep the pressure down towards him, but that will all get farmed out. No problem for Impaler.
And this time around, Millenium didn't care about Supa Hot Crew splitting up. They just stayed here in the mid lane. But the wave beyond is calling, destroying pretty much the entire wave, forcing Millenium to just stay here. And once again, you need to land a few spears before you can do anything with this combo.
And Impaler just goes home, tries to take the golems, comes straight back to lane and thinks, this is great, I'm getting lots of farm down here. Impaler 3-0-2 so far has had a pretty good impact on that Kha'Zix. Meanwhile, Millenium with those 4 members continue to try and keep them at bay in towards this mid lane. Can they get themselves that first turret? Red buff was being picked up. Impaler puts some damage down and Kevin realizes he doesn't even make a scratch.
And Impaler is going towards his very damage route and a hook actually to Mima.
It's on Mima that's got a Dominus available, doesn't use it, doesn't need to use it, and Millenium still trying to poke out there. There is the ultimate U being used. Selfie's going to chase this one down. He does manage to land on towards him. Oh, a flash comes out from Kevin. Much needed there, and that will maybe alleviate the pressure in this mid lane.
Yeah, Kevin was waiting with his splash till he saw the change so he could avoid the CC, and Selfie had to use his jump just to get into the fight so he couldn't jump onto Kevin.
Selfie going to try and come around the backside on towards Millenium here. They saw him coming. They know he's coming around there. Stan United is available, the hook on Mima, but that's just going to trigger. They're all grouped up. That's perfect placement. And Selfie just catches all four of them with his distortion. Millenium just absolutely shredded down by the Super Hot crew. Selfie continuing to chase it. They're having to back away. As you mentioned, Stan United was available. He used it on J-Reed. It's already been cancelled straight away. Selfie are terrorizing Millenium.
Yeah, J-Reed just got exploded there, and the fact he hits 4 members with the distortion, so much damage. So now
Curb's going to get caught out. That's going to stun him up there. The finish should come through. Wow. There it is. And now on towards Aaron Air. Can he get a second one? He will not.
It's a clone. It's a clone.
It's the clone, though. Oh, and he gets Aaron Air. No, not quite managing to finish him off there. Good turnaround from Kraton.
But the fact that Super Crew actually 5 against 4 with the Shin ultimate from Millenium just destroyed them because of Selfie coming in here from the side. The ultimate from Kevin did absolutely nothing. Jerry just exploded there. And that's actually what Millenium wanted. That's why they stayed with 4 members, because they wanted the fight to start. They wanted Kevin to join in and then be 5 against 4, but they simply couldn't due to all the burst from Selfie.
Yeah, I mean, that ward right there on the screen, he walked past it. They knew
it was
he was
all
coming.
planned.
They were completely prepared. But you should not stay 4 members grouped together when there's a LeBlanc. He can do that to your team, and it just happened. And maybe a little bit of overconfidence in their tactic there, not quite working out for them.
Look here, he's actually building mobility boots onto LeBlanc because he wants to walk through the jungle of Millenium all the time. He wants to walk from lane to lane and try and set something up, so he wants this mobility. Same goes, of course, for the Karma with also mobility boots, so you have so much mobility on Super Hot Crew side. That's what they've been using all the time. But credit to Millenium for actually staying in this mid lane, despite Super Hot Crew grouping up, doing what they can do with their combo and trying. And Mima did drop low, but it wasn't enough.
Mima's just going to get himself some farm in that top lane. Jerry had come up here, but he's just going to step away. Selfie is coming in towards the tri-bush. If he's going to go, he's going to have to go quickly. They do ward it out. And Selfie is still on the hunt. He's actually going to get himself a big chunk of farm in that top. Impaler just been back to buy. We talked about whether he was going to go tanky. Well, the answer is no. He's gone full damage.
So he's got a lot more damage than we actually see people do in Korea, where it's very tanky focused with maybe a Brutalizer and the Elder Lizard. But that's simply also because they are ahead. He wants to duel people, he wants to fight, he wants to catch out someone like Kevin with this last Whisper now, have some armor penetration to do some damage to him. So I actually like the way he's building, and he's definitely not fearing Millenium when it comes to AoE in team fights.
The ultimate used out from Selfie there, and you saw 1,000 hit points blasted off Kevin instantly. So he has to be careful. He's not as strong as he'd like to imagine in terms of magic resist. He doesn't have a great deal, you can see, which is why he's just picked up that Spectral Cowl. He's trying to try and build into something, realizing that the danger may be coming in the form of LeBlanc. LeBlanc himself has gone down the bottom there. Selfie will be clearing that one out. Impaler is looking towards that mid. J-Reed throwing out the hook, but Badge's Veil would have stopped that nevertheless on mine.
Yeah, the wards have disappeared a little bit for Super Hot Crew, so they don't feel confident enough just pushing up all the lanes and try and catch out Millenium. They need to get in there as a group, get some wards down. That's what we see them do here. Going in and actually going on Aaron Air.
Jumping on Aaron Air, he's gone. Oh no, the lantern almost enough, but he skitters away like a little spiderling from the Hobbit.
So now the jungler is gone, Smite is gone. Super Hot Crew can take this dragon here, the Baron, sorry, there's nothing Millenium can do to stop it, unless they want to face in with Nidalee and Caitlyn. Not really.
No, not going to happen. They can try and throw a spear maybe, but that's about all it would be. Not going to happen, and Super Hot Crew get themselves a very deserved Baron after taking down the jungler.
And absolutely love the new playstyle of Super Hot Crew with Selfie on LeBlanc here. Just so aggressive with this pick combo. They just, every single time they catch out Millenium, they get something. This time it was the Baron. We've seen him, of course, down here in the bot lane where they picked up 3 turrets already. Inhibitor is open. They just need to walk straight up to it with this Baron buff now and take it.
10 seconds until that dragon spawns. Baron was already taken, and may well be the next target. Bottom lane turret. Can Millenium get themselves that second turret? I think they may well have just enough time in here for Kevin to take this turret down. We do see Mima heading this way, but the damage should be enough from Kevin now.
And Kevin needs to just continue split pushing, and then the rest of the members just have to wave clear and avoid being instantly blown up by Selfie whenever Super Hot Crew decides to push up, because if they can extend the game, they can get the defensive items to avoid some of all this damage from Super Hot Crew and actually really start using both Caitlyn and Nidalee to the full potential.
So pressure is almost certainly on from Super Hot Crew. We are seeing a Leandris now picked up by Mixer.
It's the style of Karma. People like to build some damage on it because, again, I like this Lissandra against something like Shen, because you get some more damage onto him, you can get him a little bit lower, and of course, you just want some damage onto this Karma. We don't see a Talisman, however, and that's because they don't actually need to group up as 5 unless they want to go for this one.
They're going to go in towards Kevin. Are they going to land it? No. Instead, a spear will come out from Kerp, and that will slow him in his tracks. Something we didn't mention on Super Hot Crew is the fact that they have 4 members that can pass over those walls. It's something we see a lot from the Korean and Chinese teams. Super Hot Crew maybe trying to adapt some of that play. Remember, there's no turret here to defend Millenium, and they're going to keep on pressure. Spear does land on Selfie, a second spear. That may well give them pause for thought if the third one comes in.
And that's what they need. They just have to land a few spears from Kerp, followed by a very good hook by Jerry, and then they can actually engage. But the taunt is gone now from Kevin, so this inhibitor should be very easy for Super Hot Crew to pick up.
Now he's going to go down. Will they follow through? Mixer does get caught out by Jerry. The hook was enough, but it didn't get followed through by Millenium. And well, Super Hot Crew happy to just rotate around. Spears coming through after a ward was placed from Kerp. The rest of the lanes, they do need pushing up.
Yeah, again, even though it was hook onto Mixer, the combo from Millenium have absolutely no chance in a straight-up fight unless they poke people low from Super Hot Crew. And because they are so far ahead, they can just back off if they choose to, if they get too low. So Super Hot Crew are in a perfect position, and as long as they can continue putting pressure here, pushing up the lanes, and of course don't let the game go for the next 20-25 minutes, they are in just such a good position. I would even say, actually, going full late game, despite having Renekton, the combo from Super Hot Crew in a team fight is stronger.
Well, it is certainly now, that's for sure, because they've got themselves a 12,000 gold advantage, along with a Baron buff, which you could equate to another 8,000 on top of that, makes it around about 20,000 gold advantage. Not to mention all the pressure they continue to keep applying. Super minions going down that bottom lane, of course. Looks like it's the mid lane where they're going to apply that pressure. We're going to see Mima split pushing in the top.
And let's see here now. Notice the pings from Super Hot Crew. 3 spots into the jungle of Millenium. That's where they want their wards. That's where they want to camp and wait for Millenium to walk out and face check them. Of course, Millenium, they won't do it. They're just going to stay around their base here. They know they're safe for now, but as soon as they spot one member of Super Hot Crew, they have to be careful and just start backing out of the jungle and let Super Hot Crew take the full vision control in here.
Impaler is trying to see if he can jump on anyone. Follow through with Selfie. It's a scary, scary combo of damage that can jump onto you if caught off guard, and Sweeping Lens picks up 2 wards for Super Hot Crew, taking away that vision, as you mentioned, from Millenium. It does mean that top turret, along with this middle turret, are now going to be pressured.
This simply means for Super Hot Crew, they can push out both lanes here and then rotate between them. If there's 5 members from Millenium up in the top, you just keep one guy down the bottom to push it. Look at Selfie's position. You want to catch someone out.
Wow, the Shadow Dash from Millenium. Dudes managed to land on Mima. They didn't even care about it. They just tanked that turret down, no problem at all. They got so much damage. Talisman from Millenium. They're going to chase on this one. Quick distortion on towards Jerry. The combo doesn't quite land, but the culling does. And Jerry's taking all sorts of damage from this one. Now we're going to see him. Bailey's going to jump in and gets the reset. He does get stunned out though, which managed to pop that ultimate once again. Mima goes deep. Nexus turret does go down to the super minions. They're going to catch on towards it. RNA gets away. The second Nexus turret's going to go down. And the Super Hot Crew are going to take a well-deserved victory over Millenium. Millenium themselves, while they land themselves continually rooted at the bottom of the table. But what a great turnaround and what a great first game for Selfie in that mid lane.
And Super Hot Crew, they just played their pick combo absolutely perfect, constantly pushing out every single wave, so Selfie could just roam around it in the jungle, catch out there in the air again and again, kill him and get the lead. The only downside was the fact they gave 2 dragons early, but still they dominated the map, got the Baron and got the game.
Fantastic first game, and what a turnaround. The Super Hot Crew have had that week practice with their new member, seemingly just giving a new lease of life to many of these players.
Just like we talked about from their practice with this new mid laner, they have a whole new style. With moves, we had the very passive early game because they wanted to farm up on Gragas, on Zex. With Selfie, they just want to fight. They want to find the enemy, constantly go towards them. They even first pick the one for it.
And I feel that maybe he just gave a new lease of life to Impaler. He suddenly realized, I can go aggressive. I've got somebody that's going to back me up every step of the way.